All right, welcome to the third episode of my Hollow City breakdown series. I know this has been a long time coming, but I was extremely busy for the past month working on the Blockhead manual, which I believe I mentioned Blockhead briefly at the end of the last episode. I had just started playing around with it at that point. I'm not sure if I had even started writing the manual at all yet. Blockhead is an incredible DAW. It's extremely interesting. Very revolutionary for sound design, especially, I think. And I wrote a manual for it that was very in-depth. So that took a long time to make. But I'm glad to be getting back to this now. This is actually the second time I've recorded this. The first time, there's a bunch of construction going on in my apartment building right now, and there's just a lot of noise. And I had some difficulties. I just decided to re-record the entire thing. So starting over here. Sorry. So, as I said at the end of the last video, I will be going over the ambiences in this video, which there are, I believe, 10 to 13 ambiences, depending what you consider an ambience, because there are the street light flicker, steam vents, and fire ambiences, which are all sort of somewhere between being an ambience and a sound effect. So I'll be going over 12-ish of them. I will leave the fire for probably its own episode, probably a shorter episode, but the fire is by far the most complex thing, the most complex sound in this game. It was a lot of fun to make, but it was a lot of work. I'm also not sure how recording it is going to work, because this computer struggles quite a bit to run it normally. So, yeah, we'll see. But I'm gonna get started here. So I did most of the work in Reaper. There were a couple things I did in Ableton. Some things are broken in this. I think I technically made 3 of the ambiences here, but only 2 of them are available. I'm not sure where the third one went. But first I'll talk about this wind synth. So probably over a year now, I've been slowly building up this wind synth. I think probably the first time I used it was in the sci-fi soundscape. And the rule I have for myself with it is that anytime I use it, I have to make a new layer for it. So it's constantly improving, constantly getting bigger, more complex, more varied. So I won't show the rest of it, but I will show this is the layer I made for it. I believe, anyway, this is the layer I made for it for including it in Hollow City. So I'll just play this by itself. Alright. So, fairly simple wind synthesis thing, but, you know, when you hear them all together, it's a fairly full, complex. What I think the thing I would like to do next on it is make some macros that control different things in each of them, and then have an expression control. Well, no, probably not expression control. I don't know, just some some modulation source, moving them all over time. I think that would be pretty interesting. You know, make it so sometimes one of them is completely silent. They all have some amount of volume modulation, so they will be quieter or louder, but that there would be some external modulation. I'd like to put that in at some point here, but so the next one is the electricity. So this is half of the electricity, the streetlight flicker zapping sound. This is one of two layers that went into that, which I think, yeah, see through. A little loud. Oops. So this is a synthesized layer, obviously. The other layer was recorded with a Soma ether. It's a recording of an actual streetlight. So you don't... Oh man, what is going on? There's like a major police chase going on outside. So you don't really hear it that much because it's just like constantly... You just hear these like tiny little snippets of it, but that's what it sounds like, all sustained. So the third ambience is slamming, or no, chugging. The chugging ambience. I am pretty sure I made that in this Ableton project, but I am not sure where it is. I don't know where it went. I can, however, this is easier in Reaper. Let's see. I don't know. You gotta just put the whole thing in there. What? What? Okay. I'm just gonna have to... I don't know why that's not... That's really weird. Why is it not showing all this? Maybe it just hasn't... hasn't loaded them all yet? Anyway. Ambience, chugging. So, oops. So the chugging ambience just consists of these three sounds, which are the same sound. Is that coming through? I'm not sure. Yep, looks like it is. Okay. So it's just pitched down. I think, let me see. I think whatever the base one is, which would be, I think, this. Yeah, so I think this is like what's considered sort of the base. Sorry, I choked on. I actually choked on things multiple times today, so my throat is still like, I don't know, having to clear it. So I apologize for that. So I think this itself was extremely pitched or rate shifted down. Oh, there we go. Now it just populated. Like minus 48 semitones, something like that. And it was just a little sample, I think, taken out of this recording, this missing recording of Adam dumping something. It was just a sound that I pitched down a lot until I got these, nice little crunchy artifacts and stuff. I put some effects on it and stuff as well. Probably some distortion. Oh my goodness, it did not like me on doing that. But this is just it pitched down, rate shifted down an octave, and this is it rate shifted up a perfect fifth. So you get this nice rhythm. You get this nice rhythm between them. I think I was just messing around with that sample. I had it in like a simpler or something like that, just held down a couple keys and liked that rhythm it made, so I stuck with it. It's probably the most non-literal sound effect in the game. Like, this does not come from anything that exists in the world. I mean, it theoretically could. There theoretically could be something in the world that's making this sound, but it's not really intended to be. It is just this sort of unknown sound that is, I don't know, partially to imply the non-reality of the game, I guess. But that is it for Ableton. So now, Reaper. So you might notice a problem here. You might notice a problem how there are 380 regions spread out across 5 hours and a lot of tracks. I think like 30 something. Yeah. So this is something I'm trying to improve on, is not making like all of the sound effects in a single project, because it leads to situations like this where things are basically impossible to find. The first time I recorded this, I was trying to find different ambiences, and it just took a lot of time. It's not good. So I need to improve on that. But I mean, the reason for it usually is that I'll have recorded things, brought them in here, cleaned them up, chopped them, exported them, and then I just start working on processing them right away. And I should just like have a project for all the chopping and then makes separate projects just for the processing. And I even in my like default game sound design folder layout I've created, I even have like folders for that. I just need to actually do it. But anyway, so this is I believe this is hollow noise. Yeah, you can't hear stuff from Wise. But yeah, I believe this is hollow noise. This was, so I took 2 like midnight recordings when I was working on the ambiences for Hollow City. One of them was in this sort of like plaza kind of thing. Yeah, it's just like this little plaza with some restaurants and shops and a road nearby. And so I got a pretty good recording there. And then the other one was just like outside of this gas station. There is weird stuff going on both times I've recorded at midnight. I don't probably shouldn't get too deep into it, but it was like situations where someone was probably gonna get arrested. But I got the recordings and they worked well. So this is rate shifted down an octave. Can I turn this up? Why is it so quiet? Here it is without the effects. Oh, and here it is, full speed. Oh, also, I think this is the low quality version. Yes, it is. So I talked about it in the last episode, but I made these low quality versions of several ambiences, which mostly consisted of some amount of like sample rate reduction and good hertz lossy. Just to, I don't know, have these moments of sort of, I don't know, surrealism, or just like something about the world and sound of the world has just dramatically changed just for a short period. So that's what these are for. But yeah, that's what I believe that's hollow noise. That sounds like. Then I think this is buzz. This is the recording outside the gas station. So without effects, it's like that, and without rate shifting. Turn off these. Oh yeah, so one thing, the first time I recorded this, I realized for some reason, it's been a while since I worked on this. The ambiences were one of the first things I did in the game, or at least for the sound of the game. For some reason, I have 2 frequency shifters in serial that are making like negligible offsets. It's on both of these. I have no idea why. It's really strange. But I don't know. It was probably something I was playing around with, and then I was doing other stuff and liked the way it sounded, so I didn't go back and like look at them and be like, why are these on here? So yep, that's that. Oh, also, I think I probably mentioned it a bit in the previous episode. I don't remember. I also think I talked about it in the first time I recorded this, but a lot of these have EQs. I don't think the active ambiences do. Ominous Rumble doesn't. Reverb Chorus doesn't. This one technically does, but it doesn't. I don't know why it's on here. It's not doing anything. But I think like all of the rest of these have EQs, which was before I put EQs on them. The sound overall was fairly muddy. It was kind of hard to hear each individual sound. It all just kind of mushed together. So using EQ like this really helped each ambience to stand out on its own and be audible when, you know, not super audible, but audible enough when you're listening for it. So yeah, that's all that. Oh yeah, Insects doesn't as well, but that's this. I think I probably talked about it before. The Insects ambience was one of the last things I added. It was like really late in the process that I added that. All right. So now, oh yeah, so here's the wind. This is just the wind from Ableton. It similarly has the low quality version. Yeah, not much to say there. It was just a recording from Ableton that I chopped up. This is a recording of an air purifier I have in my room. What I was going for with this was something like an HVAC unit or an air conditioner in a window or something like that. Just the sort of fan hum sort of thing. So yeah, this is something I realized last time I recorded it. I believe this sound was supposed to have this effect in it, but it didn't. This sort of choppy square wave modulation. Which, let me see. Oh, is it not on this one? Oh, no. So it's connected to 1. It's connected to 4, yeah. But it's not in the finished version. Which is kind of a story in and of itself. So when I started using Reaper more, one of the things I missed the most was Ableton's modulation systems, because they're really good. You know, like expression control, shaper, MIDI shaper, LFO, envelope follower, like these really good, easy to use modulation sources that is just you drop it in the chain and connect it and it's set. Reaper does not have anything like that. I think it's something you could really benefit from. They did just in I think it was version 7 when they went to version 7, they just added containers, which is kind of like I don't know, chain groups or whatever they're called in Ableton, which was another thing I was really missing. So it's awesome that they added that. I can only hope at some point that they add some sort of modulation system like Ableton has, because it's like, okay, you can do it. Like if I wanted to modulate the frequency of this, I would go here, LFO, and then I can set all this, set the phase, if it's centered or whatever starting point. You can do it, but if you want to have it control multiple things, it's kind of tricky. I don't even remember how. I want to say it's like you can then have something controlled by, I would set something to be controlled by this parameter or something like that. I don't remember. It's not, for me anyway, it's not very intuitive. It's a kind of clunky system. It's difficult to map modulation to multiple things, like a single modulation source. I do use the envelope follower quite a bit, because the envelope follower is quite good. But yeah, I was just sort of missing a really convenient modulation source like that. So I asked on the Reaper forum, and someone recommended Cardinal, which I guess is like VCV Rack. I've never actually used VCV Rack, but it's something like VCV Rack. And so I set up, this isn't even actually my default now. My default now is this, so it has these noise source as well, which I think there's probably a better noise source. I have this like really jumpy, sample and hold kind of noise source connected to slew limiters. It's not the best setup, but at least it's some random modulation. But yeah, basically now I can just drop this in a track, and now I have 8 LFOs that are controlling MIDI CCs. So then I can just say, okay, click that. Oh, no. Oops. Click this, MIDI link. There we go. And now, oh, whoops. I need to be playing something on that. See? It's just like pretty much as easy as it is in Ableton. However, there is some trickiness with it, because notice how this modulation is still going even though I have stopped. Now if I press play again, the modulation stops. but it's playing. So then if I stop it again, now it's playing and the modulation is running. It's just sort of a quirk of the system, I guess. There might be some way to work around it, but it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, you go like here, and then you can map it to one of these parameters. That's right. That's how you do it. Anyway, it's just a weird quirk of the system. So I had put this effect on here. This stuttery effect. And so the way this weird modulation turning on and off thing works is it still works the same even when you're rendering. So basically, if I stop now, if I rendered right now, this would render without that effect. But then if I play again, stop again, now if I rendered, it would have that effect because the next time I play, the effect is on. So either I wasn't aware of that at the time, or I just didn't think of it when I was exporting or whatever. So this effect, this ambience did not have that effect. I think it's fine. I think I don't think it would have made the sound better. I don't really like it. But it is kind of funny to look back and realize that this sound did not actually turn out how it was intended to sound. Oh, and this is just what it sounds like itself. I think that's completely raw. I don't think there's even any noise reduction because, like, what would you be reducing? The whole thing is basically just noise. So next, reverb chorus. So this is actually that same recording, rate shifted down an octave. Now unfortunately, I guess oh, cat just exploded. Yeah, I guess I applied all of these effects and then rendered it and then rate shifted it down an octave because I don't see the effects. I don't remember exactly what I did to make this effect. I remember I was talking with a friend and playing this on my speaker behind my computer at the time, and I was very excited because it sounded really nice, but I don't remember what it actually was. But here's what the original version was. But yeah, reverb chorus. There was a lot of reverb. I think it was like a very high feedback reverb, but I don't remember exactly. Okay, so the subway. So the subway is made out of recordings I took while I was in Philadelphia last October. And these were bad recordings. They were not high quality recordings. When I went to Philadelphia in October, I recorded the entire trip, like literally every second of the entire trip, even through the night. And so there was a lot of like, it's not like I was holding a microphone out the whole time. A lot of the time I had it just in my pocket or whatever. And so a lot of these recordings are not good at all. There's this like weird clicking in a lot of them. I'm not sure if it was like just it being in my pocket and being jostled around or something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, a lot of the recordings are very bad. And so I used this mouth declicker to help get rid of the clicks a bit. I have 2 limiters on this. I'm not really sure why, but some reverb, filter. It's muffled because it's underground, but it also helps cover up some of those clicks, which is good. But the trick I did here, which I think came out quite well, is for each of these, I cut out the little bit of the recording that had the subway in it, and then I reversed it and crossfaded between them. So you have this. This is reversed. And then it fades into the normal direction recording. And I think it worked pretty well. I really like it. Obviously, that's the way the subway sounded in the end is not how a subway sounds. I mean, I don't think you really hear a subway above ground that much anyway. I don't know that I really have, but I also haven't really been listening to it. But it's not like subways are constantly passing through subway stations like continuously. They're, it can be 5 to 10 minutes between subway arrivals. Maybe not 10, but like 5 minutes. But I did try working around that at some point. What I probably could have done is just made some empty clips and then had them in the same random container. So sometimes it would finish playing one of these and then it would just play an empty clip and it'd be silent for a little while. I also tried setting it up so there were different trigger points that would trigger a subway going through. But in the end, I just really liked the way the subway sounded. So I decided to just have them going at all times. I really like the sort of howl of the subway. I get like exhilarated in a subway station. The sound is just incredible to me. I absolutely love it. So obviously I would want to just kind of hear that at all times in the game. Although I think, I don't remember how I did it, but I think the volume of the subway comes in and out in Wise. I'm not sure though. I might just have like a low LFO modulating the volume or something like that. But yeah, I really like that. This is another side effect of being really bad about organizing projects. I just have this like sample chopping in here for some reason. Don't know why. I didn't use them in the game, but synthetic rumble and bumble purring. So this is, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the ominous rumble, I think I called it. Yeah, ominous rumble. It's the rumble coming from the end of the game. It consists of 2 portions. This, which I don't think it, I have this filter turned all the way up. I I think it was probably more like this. It gets filtered in Wise, but I think I still filtered it some here. Something like that. I don't know. And then the other portion is Bumble purring. A contact mic recording of it. Her purring is kind of interesting in that it isn't really audible. You can really just feel it. So I used a contact mic to pick it up, and I think it sounds really good. So yeah, it's just a combination of the two of these. Something like that. Street light buzz. Okay, so this is from, you know, the exported thing from Ableton, this sort of squelchy electric thing, and then this is the recording from Soma, the Soma Ether. I always call it the Soma, even though Soma is the brand and it's actually the Soma Ether. I always call it the Soma for some reason. Oh goodness, what is going on here? Oh goodness, it's like a flood. So yeah, this is just the Soma Ether records electromagnetic frequencies, I guess, and sort of outputs them as sound. So you get some really cool, buzzy, electric sounds. You can get really, really, really crazy sounds from it. This is a fairly basic sound that you would hear from the Soma Ether. Like, look at this waveform. Look at the weird DC offset. They look like icicles. Really cool. So yeah, together. But most of the time you would just be hearing it in tiny little bursts. I can't even make them as short as they are in the game. I don't remember how short they are in the game. I think it's like 20, a 20th of a second between. So the way it gets handled is the script on the street lights that controls both the light itself and actually lights, because there are multiple light sources on a street light, I believe. It controls the lights and muting this event. So the street lights are always running, like the event is always running continuously. It's just muting it on and off. So I think it's just like every 20 seconds it basically flips a coin if it's going to flip the light on or off, or just reverse whatever the current state is. So I think it's like up to 20 times a second it can change. Or I guess it would be, I mean, yeah, technically 20 times a second. But basically, if it turned on and off, you would hear it 10 little bursts in a second. Okay, so steam vents. Steam vents are next. So these are just recordings of my Instant Pot. um, like letting the pressure out of the Instant Pot. I made a batch of, like you get a bag mix of soup. I just made one of those specifically for capturing this. Normally I just cook rice in my Instant Pot. I think it worked pretty well for it. You barely hear this. It's very quiet in the game. But it is audible if you look for it. So we've just got formant filter. I mean reverb obviously, but formant filter to give it that sort of howl. And comb filter to make it sound like it's coming through a pipe, basically. I also just really, really love comb filters. Comb filters might be like one of my favorite effects. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. So let me see, what do I have left? Oh no, I started up pure data. Okay, fire, I will be covering that separately. Steam vents, street light buzz, ominous rumble, reverb chorus, slamming. Oh yes, that is in this project. I did find it, but it was very difficult to find. So let's see if I can find it again. For some reason, I also have the project for making the cat fight recordings in here. Oh goodness. Is this it? No, that's also the enemy vocals for some reason. What is this? Oh, those are the bricks. Oh goodness, this is a nightmare. Let me see. See if I can find it here. The slamming is just a single clip. Looped? Okay. It's right after the cat fights. Okay. So the cat fights are where? I'm sure this is riveting. Oop, oh, here it is. Okay, so these are the cat fights. I won't get into those because that's not really ambience. It's a scare, if anything. So it's right after. Is this it? There we go. So this is... This is slamming, so I believe it is just metal, throwing wood into bin, 96. So I think it's probably like the first clunk from this. Probably. I don't know. Just looped, heavily distorted, pitched down, rate shifted down, and also pitched down. I mean, that's pretty much it. I do really like doing... I'm kind of surprised I would probably usually put the distortion after the reverb, but I don't know. I do really like distorting something, filtering it, distorting it, filtering it, just like... it just, I don't know, makes it really big, heavy. So subway, buzz, chugging, fan, hollow noise, insects. I don't think that's in this project. I'm not sure where it is. I mean, I can look, but I don't think it's here. No. Yeah, I'm not sure where the insects are, because again, that was something made. It was seriously in like the final 3 days before the game came out, something like that. It was really last minute, so I'm not sure where I made those. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all of the ambiences, I guess, other than insects and fire, but I'll be covering fire separately. Yeah, that is about it. Yeah, so sorry you had to see this absolute monstrosity of a project, but yeah, that's just, I need to not do that. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching, and new episodes should be coming out more frequently. I don't know how many more I'll have for this. I'll do a quick one for the fire. I mean, I don't really need to like cover footsteps probably, because it's like footsteps, who cares. Oh, I can do some for like the scares. That'll be good. And the car screech sort of thing. Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple things left, but not too much. But I'll also be doing more videos about Wotja. I'm almost done with Alien Isolation, which I've absolutely been loving. So I will be doing a redesign for something from Alien Isolation fairly soon, hopefully. I'm also actually sort of doing another sound design job right now. We'll see. I'm still kind of unsure. Unsure if I'm doing it or not, but I think I am. So yeah, I'll probably record the next Wotja video tomorrow, so that should be up fairly soon. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching.